Welcome to a series of me daily sculpting, vlogging, and overall just talking about the things I've learned and just my journey in improving my sculpting along with the journey for this channel. I would like to formally introduce myself. My name is Randy Lee, and I would say I've been 3D modeling for some time, since 2019 during COVID, and this is also the time when I graduated college. Yeah, so what you're watching now is a sculpt that I've done in September 29th, 2025, and I would say it's not my first sculpt, but it is one of my very first few. I guess you could say that, but I've I've been on and off of ZBrush due to how clunky it is and how hard it is to grasp. So I think that's the one thing that kind of pushed me away from wanting to learn ZBrush for so many years. For me, I have always used Blender as my starter modeling software, which I am very comfortable in. So hopping over to ZBrush and sculpting, my mindset has always been, if I could use it in one software, I would totally do it. But I know Blender has its own limitations and performance when it comes to sculpting, so there's always that thought in my mind of limitation and how clunky it is to be using sculpting in Blender. So I have always been on and off of ZBrush for that very reason. So during this sculpting, I don't remember much of what I was thinking and what my process was, but I would say this is one of my first anatomy human sculpts. So as you can see, I'm just playing around with the brushes as I create this torso. And keep in mind, I don't know too much about proportions of the anatomy. Maybe I know stuff about certain things like the scapula, certain muscle parts, but nothing to the point where to the right size, how many heads it is to create a chest or legs or arms. So yeah, at this moment in time, I'm just creating and just sculpting without really with any intention of where I'm placing my strokes. Yes, it does look like maybe I'm trying to sculpt the neck, the shoulders, and kind of eyeballing it based off of what I envision what a body anatomy is. And it could be very well that I was taking Flip Normal's anatomy class. So this could be the same time of that, but to be very honest, I'm still was in the beginning of those courses. So later down the line in 2026, I start to be a little bit more knowledgeable and kind of study the human anatomy by each part versus doing the whole character itself. Just never realized how complex the human body is and how much detail goes into one section. So the reason why I want to get into 3D sculpting and get better at the anatomy was to make characters. And as I discover new ways of modeling and going through like making buildings, exteriors, automotive, I realized that I wanted to get into the 3D collective toy scene, and one of those blind boxes was the reason why I wanted to go into this realm. So in order to do so, I wanted to learn more about the anatomy and proportions, and just to understand how to build a character from scratch. And it would be stylized, chibi, and that's the reason why I kind of want to start learning and just better my sculpting at this point. So that's my intention, and really wanted to record and document my journey. One of the things that I ask myself is, what are the steps to succeed in what I'm trying to do? And one of the things that I struggle with is being consistent, and as I plan, I tend to overthink, and I try to make every video, every part of my project perfect, so that ends up being a thing where I postpone and I just keep working on something that I know I can never get perfected. And I would say that is the one downfall of my trait. To help combat and trying to be perfect all the time and stop overthinking, I kind of set up some structures and reminders that would help me get past this. One is to have Claude AI / Obsidian to help me structure my ideas and really to help me keep them organized as I keep brainstorming. Second, I would say I would remind myself of this quote that practice makes perfect, which honestly is very helpful for me, is that it can never be perfect on the first try. So I would say I keep putting myself on a time limit, like 30 minutes sculpting only, and kind of review what I've done wrong, what I've done right, what I've learned, and so on. Third, I would say creating small videos to make small wins. I don't want to make too big of a project that I can't do. So I create small scripts, small videos like reels and things that doesn't require me to take too much efforts, like top 5 YouTubers, just taking YouTubers videos and kind of throwing them onto the video project to post. And lastly is really to stop caring about the outcome, because whatever you post, no one really knows who you are, so why care? So that's also the mindset that I've kind of have to manifest, and this is why I'm making these videos, is that I could tell, or probably maybe in 5 or 10 years from now, it's like no one's really gonna watch this video. So that mindset is there, and so far it has helped me progress in making videos, making content, and it has been working, and whatever works for me, this is what I'll keep doing, and I'm just happy that I'm able to go forward and not care so much about anything really. So I'm just happy to be here.